There's something bubbling at Ibrox, and it's not just the usual anticipation ahead of a transfer window. This feels different. This feels big. Rangers are standing at the edge of a new era. Not just a fresh coat of paint, not just a tweak. Here or there, we're talking about real change, real investment, and the kind of ambition that could shape the club for years to come. Now, let's be honest, the excitement's been building ever since word got out that former Everton director of football, Kevin Thelwell, would be coming in. He's not even officially in the door yet. His deal kicks in once the current premier. League season wraps, but already you can feel the shift. The conversations, the rumors, the energy in the fan base. It's all pointing in one direction. Something big is coming. And you know what else is big, a potential takeover that could see Rangers come under majority control of an American consortium led by U.S. health tycoon Andrew Cavanaugh and the football wing of the 49ers Enterprises. Yes, the very same group. Tied to the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL and to Leeds United in England. And for the first time, we've heard from them. A joint statement's been issued confirming what we've all been speculating for weeks, maybe months. Talks are productive, both sides want this to happen, and all going well Rangers football. Club could be days, maybe just weeks, away from flipping the switch on one of the most significant boardroom shakeups in its history. The statement released to Sky Sports News made it clear. The club and the consortium are in alignment. There's mutual recognition of the importance of Rangers' long-term vision, of the need for strong leadership, and of the potential for serious as capital injection. This isn't a vanity project. This isn't a short-term play. The people involved know what this club means, and they know what's required to take it forward. Not just in the Scottish Premiership, but in Europe and beyond. Now reports suggest the group's aiming for a 51% stake. That golden number that gives full control. And from what we understand, that number's been secured. The shares are lined up. The backroom deals are done. And it's just the legal and regulatory boxes that need ticking before everything becomes official. There's been a bit of noise around Sandy Easdale, a former director, and his 2.1% stake. But from what we're hearing, that particular slice isn't necessary to get the deal over the line. Despite what some folk might say, there's no snag here. No drama, just process. Andrew Cavanaugh, for those who don't know, has been working on this since October last year. It's not been a quick thing. It's been months of quiet conversations, strategic moves, and patient negotiations to get the right people on board. That includes Rangers chairman John Bennett and former chairman Dave King, both of whom are set to sell significant stakes as part of the handover. Dave King in particular brings to an end a 25-year association with his boyhood club, stepping back from the director's role and clearing space for what's to come. And what's to come is more than just new faces in the boardroom. It's a new model, a new investment plan, a new level of ambition. The consortium is reportedly aiming to acquire around 20% of RFC PSC shares from the big players like King and Bennett, then build the remaining portion through targeted deals with other investors in a future rights issue. It's all designed to establish a solid power base, not just for stability, but for real growth on and off the pitch. And let me just pause for a second here, because for a lot of us, this is the kind of backing we've been crying out for. A chance to compete on equal footing, a chance to build something sustainable. Something that honors the history of the club but looks forward to European nights, to proper squad building, to competing with the best. Meanwhile, back on the pitch, there's transfer business to be getting on with. Rangers are set to sign a defender soon. Deal's nearly done, and we'll keep you updated when it becomes official. But the name on everyone's lips right now is Josh Mulligan, and this could be an absolute steal. Mulligan's out of contract at Dundee this summer, and Rangers are seriously interested. There's championship clubs down south sniffing about. Too, but the 22 might just fancy sticking around in Scotland, especially with Rangers knocking on the door. He's versatile, plays at fullback or midfield, and he's a strong carrier of the ball. He's been a standout at Dens Park and already has over 100 appearances under his belt, which is no small feat for a lad coming through an academy. He's got 5 assists in the Premiership this season, and even created Dundee's opener in that 11 draw against us earlier in the campaign. That game might have been a frustrating one for Rangers fans, but for the scouts, it was another tick. in Mulligan's favor. He's the kind of player who likes to drive forward, likes a duel, and loves to get in behind on the right. Whether he's hugging the touchline or drifting into central spaces, he makes himself available. And importantly, it delivers. Internally, Rangers know they've got to add a bit more physicality to the squad this summer. Too often we've seen the team struggle in certain matchups. Mulligan brings that bite. He brings energy, confidence on the ball, and an engine that doesn't quit. And because he's out of contract, he's technically a free. Though some compensation may be required depending on development rules and all that. Still, it's a low-risk, high-upside move that fits with the club's desire to tap into the Scottish market more effectively. We've seen it already with Lyle Cameron Mulligan's teammate at Dundee, who's set to join Rangers in the summer on a pre-contract. Technical director Nils Carpen said it last year. The club wants to sign at least one player per season from another Scottish team. It's smart, it's cost-effective, and it shows we're keeping an eye on talent in our own backyard. So the question is Josh Mulligan the right fit? Could he be the next one to make that step up and thrive in front of the Ibrox faithful? He's got the tools. He's got the attitude. And from what we've seen so far, he's got the hunger. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is Mulligan the kind of signing that gets you excited? Or should Rangers aim higher this window given the changes? Behind the scenes and the promise of fresh investment. Because make no mistake, this summer could be a defining one. Not just for who we sign, but for who we become. Now we can't talk about what's coming next for Rangers without having a real look at what's just happened. The league titles slipped away again, and that stings. No point dressing it up. Celtic have had the upper hand in recent years, and that's a reality the club can't run from. But what matters now is the response. And from everything we're seeing, from the boardroom moves, the transfer whispers, to the energy around Ibrox, the response is coming. There's frustration. But there's fire too. And that fire's been burning in the fans for a while now. Everyone's sick of near misses, tired of being second best. We want a squad that doesn't just compete but dominates. A squad that can handle the demands of the Scottish game and step into Europe with its head held high. And to do that, you need more than just one or two clever signings. You need a shift in mentality. You need to raise the floor of the squad, not just the ceiling. You look at Celtic, say what you will, they've had depth. When they rotate, they don't fall off a cliff. That's been the difference in too many tight races. Rangers, on the other hand, have had a handful of players carrying the load week in, week out. And when they're missing or off form, the whole thing creaks. That's why this summer has to be different. No more papering over cracks. No more last-minute panic buys. This has to be deliberate, structured, ruthless even. The kind of rebuild that doesn't just plug gaps but sets a foundation. And this is where Thelwell comes in. This is exactly the sort of job he's been brought in for. At Everton, he wasn't perfect. No one in that club's chaos was. But he knew how to identify undervalued talent, especially in tough markets. He worked with budget limits and still found pieces that worked. Before that, he built Wolves, up from a bang-average championship side to one of the smartest operators in the Premier League. And the word is he's already mapped out a profile for what Rangers need. Young, hungry, physically robust players who can handle the pace of the Scottish game and grow into European football. That doesn't mean throwing money around daftly. It means being smart, being ahead of the curve, and maybe more importantly, being brave. There's going to be some big names leaving Ibrox this summer. Players who've been around for years. Players who've had their moments but maybe held onto a starting shirt for too long. That sentimentality, that loyalty to familiar faces, it's cost us. There needs to be a clean break. Some folk will be emotional about it. That's natural. But football's not about sentiment, not if you want to win. And Rangers have to start thinking like winners again, not just survivors. The fans deserve that. The badge demands it. Now look, it's easy to get carried away when there's takeover talk and shiny new plans being floated around. We've seen clubs get it wrong with fresh money. We've seen American owners come in, promise the moon, and disappear when things get tough. But this doesn't feel like that. This group, this consortium, they've been methodical. They've taken their time. They've spoken to the right people, kept things quiet, and only now are they starting to speak publicly. That says they're not here for drama. They're here to build. And it's not just about the first team either. From what we're hearing, the vision includes serious investment into infrastructure, upgrades at Auchenhowie, improvements to youth recruitment, and even a long-term look at expanding the club's international footprint. That's the kind of thinking that puts you 5-10 years ahead. Not just a good season, but a good decade. Because let's face it, Scottish football's on the cusp of change. The Champions League format's shifting, the money's getting bigger, and if Rangers don't position themselves now, they risk being left behind. You think Celtic won't be looking at the same landscape? Of course they are. They're not going to wait for us to catch up. They'll push on too. So the margin for error is tiny, but the opportunity massive. And that's where the fans come in. Because when the club starts making these moves, some of them unpopular, some of them risky, it needs backing, not blind support, but belief in the vision. Belief that this isn't just change for change's sake, but change because we've needed it for years. And the fans, man, we've stuck through worse. Administration, relegation, banter years. This is nothing compared to that. This is the beginning of something. You can feel it. There's still a Scottish Cup to play for. Silverware still within reach. And while that won't erase the sting of losing the league, it gives the team and the supporters a reason to stay locked in. It gives some players a last chance to prove they belong in what's coming next. Because the standards are rising fast. And anyone not ready to match that, well, they won't be sticking around much longer. So as we head into this summer, just notice Rangers are moving quietly, quickly, and with purpose. The takeovers, nearly done. The new director of football's got his list. The scouts are busy, the lawyers are working overtime. And somewhere in a quiet boardroom, a new chapter is being written. One that could take Rangers back to the top, not just of Scotland, but of Europe too. It won't be easy. It won't be instant. But it's coming, you can feel it. So buckle up, lads. The rebuild's about to begin, and this time, it's for real. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In the aftermath of a bruising midweek encounter, St. Mirren's no-nonsense gaffer, Stephen Robinson, did not mince his words when asked about his old firm rivals, Rangers. Fresh from guiding his side to a gritty victory at Love Street, the Northern, Irishman delivered a scathing verdict on the Glasgow Giants, one that's sure to reverberate through Ibrox this week. It's a wee bit of a joke, Robinson fired, voice thick with disdain. They talk a big game, but when it comes down to it, they're all mouth and no trousers. The St. Mirren boss, never one to shy away from confrontation, pointed a finger at what he sees as Rangers' inflated reputation. Every pundit out there fawns over them, saying they're this great force in Scottish football, he continued. I'm not seeing it. They've got the budget, aye, but attitude and character, that's what wins you games, and that's what we showed tonight. Robinson's ire was stoked by more than just recent form. He took aim at Rangers' much-vaunted recruitment policy, suggesting that splashing cash on big names does not necessarily translate into still-edged performances. Signing a few ex-Prem lads doesn't make you champions, he quipped. It's about smarts, graft, and unity, qualities we've got in abundance at St. Mirren. The manager also questioned the mentality of opponents who routinely fall back on the old firm narrative to cloak their own shortcomings. If I hear one more manager blaming the rut of Scottish football on Rangers, I'll scream, he scoffed. Stop hiding behind that name and start improving your own damn team. Unsurprisingly, Robinson dismissed suggestions that his remarks might distract his players, insisting that stirring the pot was a time-honored tactic. A bit of mind games never hurt anybody. He shrugged with a wry smile. If it gets under their skin, so much the better. Keeps us all honest. As the dust settles, Rangers find themselves with more than just league points to ponder. In Robinson's eyes, the real gulf lies not in trophies or bank balances, but in the intangible spirit that drives a team forward. And on this evidence, it seems St. Mirren's fiery boss believes his lads have the measure of their more illustrious adversaries, both on and off the park. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated. By Rangers FC, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.